Let's see, we get the Disquisition of the Enthralling Entourage. Nothing really, we'll probably learn that. Summon Mana Viper can be a really good spell, but probably not necessary for this character at least. Here says this is False World, and following them is about seeing truth by cutting away ties to the false world. Okay, so that's what their sacrifices are all about on the lore level of it all. A little bit of Pluto's Shadows on the Wall mixed with, you know, like Buddhist philosophy of eschewing, what's the word I'm looking for? Ties to material things, I guess. Material things, that's probably what my brain was trying to scramble for. Got there eventually. Highly pious followers can speak that truth and make fools who don't understand it suffer. Very interesting. Manual of Ice Magic, also interesting in terms of our run here. Let's see, you're all out of range, I guess not to Fireball. Let's do a couple of those, see how that floats our boat. Perfect. Follow up with a Bolt of the Magma variety. Not too bad. Clearing the room. One enemy at a time. Our inventory is full. Wow. We're getting all the types of scrolls. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't smart enough to drop some stuff before walking in here. I mean, we probably won't use the javelins. It might be nice to have a backup in throwing in terms of damage. Huh. Am I going to wear this troll leather armor? I guess that's the other question we could ask ourselves. Probably not, right? Regen can be nice. We have lots of other options at our disposal. If you're going through the Abyss later, like guaranteed to, we could keep it around so we could do the troll leather armor, amulet of regeneration combo, really pump up that regen stat as high as we possibly can so we can make it between fights, no problem. I find Kite Shield. I guess that only shows what's in this area, potentially. I just kind of forget how that works. Ice magic, ew. Yes, we refuse. We are fire boys in this house. Nothing but fire for me, thank you. Rue's the only god in DCSS who opposed creation, because Rue saw it as a distraction from AWOD as well. Popping on for that little tidbit. I need to read up more into the lore, especially of some of the relatively newer gods. Rue has been around for a little bit now, but is definitely still new in my mind, since I'm still lost back in the old days. And some of the old, or only the old deities that were available. I feel like that's why Rue generally hasn't been on my radar very much, just because they came after my first, or my last, what's the word, departure from the game, I guess, before coming back for my more recent play. Old habits die hard and all of that. Oh geez Louise, those dire elephants do slap, huh? Well, in that case, Fireball, the son of a gun. You really like regen from leather armor? Where did you enter the ice cave from? We were in regular dungeon, right? It was like D12, D13, somewhere around there. But no, I agree. I think that regen has a whole lot of really solid uses throughout the course of the run, so that's why I was very tempted not to drop that quite yet. Even though troll leather armor will probably be dropping like flies in just a bit here as we finally make our way further into the game. It's nice to keep around, especially since it doesn't impede our spellcasting too much. And is Foxfire finally falling behind? We've finally gone to that point. Oh, hello, Jorgrun. Oh, how nice to see you, friend. Well, fortunately, we do actually have File Flood, so I can immediately do that. Rupert, didn't expect you as well, friend. I don't know why I wasn't invited to this this get together, this party that everyone else seems to be having. Well, let's run away. I wish I hadn't used my File of Floods now. I didn't want to fight them both, but it's definitely nice to fight Jorgrun while he's silenced. Especially since we weren't going to be silenced at the same time. Would have been pretty sweet, hey? Let's use one of our chessboard pieces. I also maybe shouldn't have led them to my stairs, hey? I could have instead ran around a bit and then used like a teleport scroll to get back here potentially. That's a shame. Well, maybe we just never come down here ever again. I guess that's the only solution to life's issues. But more seriously, what can we do against these two? Okay, you found an artifact leather armor with regen. Of course, as a deep dwarf. Nice. Always love to see it. And from Awad, if you like Irradiate, then Rue's Apocalypse is like a super version of that. I mean, I do like Irradiate. It's one of those spells that I think I forget very often to actually take advantage of, but it is an exceptionally powerful get, for sure. I'm gonna take a short break, head up. Oh, I never dealt with Aruk. Okay, so we can potentially, this will be our test run. See how we deal with one of the stronger enemies here. Not very well, is what I'm learning right away. Let's hope this blast kills her. Perfect. Scary stuff, Aruk. Scary stuff. But now let's head to Orc, shall we? But yeah, that definitely interests me. I've heard that Apocalypse is a super strong spell, but again, never gone to that stage of Rue worship myself, so we'll have to do it one day. Again, we'll do it on this series one of these times, even if just to try something new. Always do enjoy doing that, especially live, when I can make a complete fool of myself and not feel too bad about it. As opposed to the regular gameplay like this, where I'd make a fool of myself and I feel very embarrassed about it. Okie dokie. Let's take you two upstairs. In general, I think we can make it through Orc. I don't know how I feel about this plan. I guess maybe even just gaining enough experience to get File of Floods back online might be kind of nice. And then we can head down to rematch against the two uniques. I hate that they're together, but maybe by the time we get through here, they'll have separated, parted ways, and it might make it a bit more manageable for us to try and finagle our way in there for some easier kills. Easier being relative, of course, when they're both as scary as Rupert and Jorgrun. And of course, we get marked. Let's just run upstairs. We probably attracted some attention before we got to the stairs, right? Oh, is it this orc too, with all the centaurs? Interesting. I wish we had a slightly higher shield score, but in general, that's still very good. Gosh darn it. They've cut off our retreat. They outsmarted me this time, I guess. You can take it slow and only make insignificant sacrifices, and then you ironically make quite big sacrifice in sacrifice early game. No. I really like the idea of the sacrifices. I think that it's really fun to, again, artificially gate yourself off from certain aspects of the game, because it does flourish that creative spirit that I talk about enjoying so often here. And there we go, the fools left my stairway open. The absolute idiots. Light our priest friend on fire. Light our other friend on fire. Not looking great here, but also not the end of the world. But let's actually keep running, find another little corridor. Hey sir, you're not supposed to sneak around like that. That's not cool. Well, let's just blast him. Okay. Don't have enough magic to bolt upwards and to the left. I mean, maybe it's time to go nuclear. Definitely should have. Might have gone outside of this in slightly more expedient fashion. See, we can probably kill you. I actually meant to right click to cancel there. Whoops. Never didn't have it, of course. Totally intentional, on purpose, very skilled gameplay. Like always, like we do here on this channel. And there we go. We managed to take out all of our orc friends that we brought up. Well, well, well. Would have been nice to have Ignite by the time we came down here, no? I didn't miss us getting that, right? No, unfortunately not. Oh me, oh my. What a shame. But where is statue form on our list? Down to 32% chance? Oh, it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. Let's take a minute here. Take a quick stretch. Make sure we're not getting too stiff, both physically and mentally. Got to keep the brain fluid pump in here and keep ready to deal with whatever the game has to throw at us. And what do we wish to do? We could probably continue through the rest of Orc, especially doing some more fancy little stair dancing techniques, reducing the numbers. I mean, if we take a peek, what did we leave behind? There is the sorcerer, or the, yeah, sorcerer, that is what you're called. But honestly, other than that, not too much to deal with here. Well, wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, Bolt of Magma is monster only. Yeah, all the bolt spells have been claimed by the monsters. Dang you monsters, taking all of our bolts. How dare you. Is it getting replaced by something though? Should have asked about that earlier actually. Even if not, I mean, there are already so many spells or other spells on the list here, especially ones that I enjoy using quite a bit. I won't feel too left out losing Bolt of Magma, even though it is often fun to use and really appeals to those of you who like finding the corridor fights and really drawing out the lines of enemies like that. Definitely a very satisfying spell to use, but won't change too much about how I play the game in general. Besides runs like this, where we're celebrating the last few uses of it, making sure to try and take advantage of something that won't always be with us. So we just take so much fire from the centaurs. Oh my gosh. I really want the sorcerer just to be chilling next to the stairs here, but can't have nice things, I guess. That's just not the way the world wills it, at the very least. Well, do I keep bashing my head against this wall till it sticks? I think so. I mean, we could take a bunch of damage. That's the Arbalist too, eh? Let's use a Bolt of Magma. Oh, Maurice has shown up. Huh. Let's just get out of here for now, shall we? Nope, we won't blast ourselves. That's very silly. At least 2 new fire elemental spells and Summon Cactus Giant are new. Oh right, Summon Cactus. I totally forgot about reading about that spell when it first came out to Trunk. That's very fun. I like the imagery of that spell at the very least. Oh, jeez Louise. So many yawns coming my way. Okay, this is the safe floor, and it's the next one, right? This is where everything goes to heck. Is indeed. So one thing I can try to do, I mean, I didn't refill my File of Floods, which was kind of my whole purpose of going back. Oh me oh my, I kind of forgot about that. I know my brain is all over the place. I'm definitely feeling a little scatterbrained about our approach here, but scratch everything we're doing here, and let's instead go back to lair, shall we? Remember when things were nice back in lair, feeling good about ourselves, about our future. Let's head back here. That's not great. Well, we will definitely be splitting this off into a few smaller, more manageable fights. Even that's not necessarily a guarantee. Except, of course, this beautiful hallway, which is no mean feat or no small feat in lair here. Definitely don't often find yourselves with those ideal hallway fixtures. Let's just light our friends on fire and run away. like we do. It's a good strat. Makes me feel good about ourselves too. And perfect, not too shabby. See, after the 2 fire elemental spells, one of them replaced Foxfire, did it not? Or is Foxfire still around and there's just now also the, oh geez, I'm stupid. Right, elephants push off stairs. Who knew? Well, that is fine. What I think we'll do here is read a teleport. Might not take us into a safer spot. And in fact, game, you can't do that to me. Pretty sure that's illegal. It teleports me 1 step. Let's try again, shall we? Okay. Maybe, just maybe, we're slightly safer here. Let's try not to make too much noise. Probably fight off an iguana just fine. Jeez Louise. Remember what I said about not making too much noise? Please leave me alone, sirs. Ouch. Ouch. Oh, and we don't have our poison resistance on either. Oof. We get level 4 fire conjuration spell that is kind of like AoE Searing Ray that increases range with each channel. That's the like flame tongue, something like that. Serpent flame. Anyway, I should stop trying to guess. Revealing my own, it is here. Jeez Louise. Gosh darn it, Cane Toad. Let's try and just blast them out of this world. Okay, we got very lucky that we don't die on our own. Also did not blast them out of this world. 3d7. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. I mean, if we go here, toggle our spell view. What are we dealing with? 3d12 on our fireball. 4d13. Bolt of magma. Okay. I guess Iskendarin's Mystic Blast is probably the safest, right? Blast that buddy away from us. And then I'm gonna drink an ambrosia. While we're confused, we get a few quick ticks of healing, and then we can follow it up with the curing to really just cement that in. That's healing on a budget in terms of time before enemies start approaching. Jeez Louise. And it just continues. My oh my. Well. So we can still start with a bunch of little flams. Follow it up with a sticky. Maybe that's good now? No, still not. A level 2 fire spell that hits random enemies within 3 tiles and gives enemies temporary vulnerability to fire. Very interesting. Okay, I like it. New ideas for sure. Here's for the one that increases with range as you cast. It's like Searing Ray where you can continue the cast kind of thing. Where are the good opportunities there? I guess the first few casts could be just preamble where you're not actually hitting anything. And then by the time you get up there, you're hitting super far away enemies. That's kind of fun. Also, how did that wolf not see us? Guess that'll be anyone's guess. Absolutely wild. I mean, they're supposed to be good at tracking, right? They probably have a good sense of smell. Try not to complain because, hey, I needed that. Definitely needed that game. And another heal wounds potion on the menu here. We are stuck, at least for the near future. So many wolves. This is very much a pack floor. Herds of elephants, packs of wolves, the whole shebang. Jeez Louise. Our elemental starts with Foxfire. Okay, so Foxfire is still available rather, but then they also have Conjure Flame, Inner Flame, and those new spells. They lose Fireball. Interesting. I like it. Like adding some more thematic elements to the starter book. Because while Fireball is kind of a staple classic of not even just this game, but wizardry in general, it's still nice to see something with a bit more niche play, or niche use, I guess, is the better phrase potentially to describe it. Should be really interesting, to say the least. Let's drain our hydropal and take you friends upstairs. Finally made our way back to a new stairwell here, or another stairwell as it were. Feeling a bit safer. Can start stair dancing once more. Yeah, lose fireball and sticky flame. Oh, I wasn't even thinking about the sticky flame, but how could they do that to us? That's the one thing keeping us alive. How dare they? No, I very much am excited to try out new changes and see how they work in practice, at least for me and my personal playstyle. Always very exciting time. Though I, of course, have no idea when the next changeover will happen from trunk to stable release. In general, I don't think there's a very consistent schedule with that, right? It's more so it's done when it's done, which makes sense, seeing as how devs are all working for free and working their butts off even with that being the case. So I appreciate the work they do and absolutely feel no rush to move on to the next versions at the very least. So we pick up Sifmuna's Compendium of Mutagenic Beguiling. Interesting, again. Nothing that really jumps out at me. Portal Projectile Silence, Erignia's Noxious Bog. Probably won't end up using them too much, but that's fine. From Ned, you don't mind losing some of those spells so long as the first 3 spells of each Elementalist aren't super similar. Good changes overall and long due in your opinion. Yeah, I very much agree with that. I love giving each of the Elementalists a slightly more niche role in the environment, for sure. That's why I really enjoyed Foxfire coming out when it first got released for the Fire Elementalist. Even that alone, I thought was a pretty huge stride in regards to making Fire Elementalists feel a little bit different. It's not just fire-based magic dart, you know? So I very much can agree with you there, Ned. I absolutely love it. Edited Hydra, let's maybe run away to heal up and might even go down the last stairwell here, see where that brings us out. Not too far. Well, the Magma Corona and Shadow Creatures becomes monster only. Shadow Creatures. Interesting. It's one that I never really used too much. Most of the high level summoning, I guess. I very much am somebody who's used the summoning spells as a bit of a like stopover gap, as a transitionary period between weak early game on a spellcaster or species, specifically to when you finally start to steamroll on your own. Definitely interesting. Well, let's just take you upstairs on your own, Nethack. Yep, definitely don't regret doing that. Turned out much better in the 1v1 and not having to worry about the entire pack descending upon us. Though that stairwell is now kind of cursed. So I guess they all kind of are. Fun stuff. So I just launched some fireballs as we keep dodging back, ring around the rosy between the 2 stairwells, hey? Absolutely blast them. If we can just take 1, even 2 Nethacs, I guess as soon as an elephant gets next to us, I start getting real scared, hey? New level 2 spell lets Fire Elementalists fight in hallways again. Yeah, that definitely was the majority of our narration at the start of this round, was just talking about how we were going to find ourselves in that exact situation. So I can see that being very useful in its own right. Okay, I don't think I attracted the whole herd up. Let's come back down here. Perfect. Definitely want slightly more than that. Okay. I regret everything in life. Oh, right, and this snake is fast, so let's immediately light it on fire. I think I have to spend a turn lighting it on fire again, or else it will chase us down, slowly but surely, whittling away. And I said good day, sir. Perfect. Let's get the heck out of there. Okie dokie, even with our slight experience gains throughout the course of this, we're still not quite ticking up to having the file floods back online, eh? Kind of my plan here was to just fight a few monsters, bada boom bada bing, get the heck out of here. ain't no thing, but that is a-okay. Still find this pretty tenable for the near future here. We're not really in too much danger as long as I don't do something incredibly stupid of my own volition here, which we've been managing to avoid for the most part, at the very least. So that's good. There we go. Should be just about through. Nice herd of elephants. Not too shabby here. Oh, hello, friends. Oh, quite the party once more. Never what I'm intending. Light you on fire, like we do. Nearest stair still is down this way. And one last time. Light our snacky friend on fire. Perfect. We should be able to handle you as long as we're not quite as stupid as we have been in the previous encounters. We'll play very much the defensive position, just running away, blowing them up. The new level 2 spell seems pretty strong for a starter spell. Applying fire vulnerability stays long relevant if you're low on fire damage. No, definitely pretty awesome. I'm slightly wondering rather, not even worried necessarily, but wondering if that's almost too strong in some regards, how well that will stick around. Because it definitely takes away some of the flavor of starting with elemental starts, which is when you actually run into enemies that resist whatever element is your go-to. That can be a fun part of the game, at the very least. Also, I'm gonna get paralyzed because I'm stupid. Wearing a corrosion ring for no reason. Should definitely be wearing resistance to poison. The slow here is pretty brutal, but as long as I can back up into a nice single wide, hopefully take care of the torpor snail. We also did get paralyzed for just a wee bit there. Now we have teleport at our disposal. Against just you, how much damage do you do on your own? 18? So a decent fair share. Not quite enough for me to just sit here and wait while under the effects of ambrosia, hey? That's cool. Only 3 more teleports too. Interesting. Let's light you on fire. No. I did not want you to switch up. That does not work for me, if I'm being honest with you. Take a heal wounds potion though. And let's just run to our stairs while we heal up. Should be okay. Let's play this a little bit more cautiously, shall we? We don't need to go diving right into the Dragon's Den, as it were. So we max out on our current training allocations. Transmutations will probably be coming back online. Spellcasting, I might actually bring up now that we want a slightly larger repertoire of spells at our disposal. On top of that, it's probably past time that I get a shield coming up here. Can also quickly check on how invocations coming along. It might be nice to have divine exegesis. Exegesis, I think, is how I'll pronounce that. Instead of trying to stumble over multiple different pronunciations and looking like an idiot. But this is the spell that, or the ability rather, that will allow us to cast spells that are not in our current repertoire of memorized ones. So definitely potentially powerful. Probably wanted at a slightly lower failure rate than 21% because it is going to be used in situations where we really need that one spell that will make the difference in a fight. So probably will end up training invocations back up sometime soon. On top of that, do I know statue form yet? No, still just in our list here. How are we doing? How are we looking? 14%. That's about time to learn it. And now, let's do a little bit of rewiring of our spells here. I mean, Foxfire, still finding it useful every once in a while. Could put Blink on a different key, especially since I don't want to accidentally cast that by hitting our macro here. I think I like the sound of that. So let us =, rearrange spells. Let's change H out with B. Now we have statue form, relatively quick to cast here. We do lose out on some willpower doing so, but we get nice resistances across the board otherwise. Basically, Deep Elf is just Wish from D&D. Or Divine Exegesis. Never mind, not Deep Elf. It's so funny how quickly I start thinking in just the kind of standard combo acronyms. But yes, Divine Exegesis is just Wish from D&D. Exactly, yeah. Cast whatever the heck you want. Do what you will. Okay, that statue form doesn't last very long. What's the spell power on that son of a gun? 34%. I guess that makes sense. We will then, I think, bring transmutations up to 11. Does that sound right to me? Kind of all across the boards here now. I probably will want to start leaning pretty heavily into maybe fire magic conjurations. We can get Firestorm online by the end of the game. It could be nice. Alternatively, we could go for the Shatter route, which is just pure earth. So it's a single school, a bit easier to get up to those high numbers at the very least. In general, I don't hate the idea of training some more earth magic because Lahudib's Crystal Sphere becomes pretty spectacular for dealing with single target strong things. Wish can't cast level 9 spells though, but it can cast any level 1 to 8 without it being in your library. So what you're saying there is that Divine Exegesis is better than Wish. It's just Wish, but even more better. Incredible. Let's bring Earth Magic up to 13. Just for funsies even, why the heck not? Turn ourselves to stone, and then we can go toe-to-toe with a gosh darn polar bear, no problem. That will also allow us, once we have that slightly more castable, that will of course allow us to not wear our poison resistance ring any longer. Take that out from our oeuvre here, which will be a nice swap. At least I think so. Too shabby. Should have gone statue form, especially as the 8-headed Hydra rears its scary visage here. Let's take one step back so that it's not staying in the water and we can light it on fire. Perfect. Never didn't have it, and all of that good stuff. Perfect. We really don't need to worry too much about the castability of statue form, seeing as how the transmutation at least lasts a little while. So you can always take a few casts to try and get it online without too much of a downside at the very least. I do want that blinking scroll. Ooh, and a ring of protection from fire might be nice to have in our back pocket here. Let's drop the ring of wizardry for now. Swap that son of a gun out. Light you on fire. Move on to the next son of a gun. And another fire dragon. Second one we fought, eh? Okay, I was going to potentially try Bolt of Magma, even with fire resistance. We at least bypass some of that with the earth side of the Bolt of Magma. At least that's my headcanon for as to why it can get through some fire resistance on its own. This whole forest is going to burn down if I'm not cautious here, right? Do I want this forest to burn down? It's interesting to say the least. Because your fire breath, no, maybe you won't cause collateral damage like that. I just find it funny when, never mind. Maybe I did that though, now that I think about it for a moment. Whoops. So sorry, forest. It's been nice knowing you. Let us blast some more ice like we do. That's how we took care of the first dragon at the very least. Maybe we can do so again. Might be nice to go into statue form before we continue this up though, just so we're not taking quite as heavy of hits when we do get struck back. Ooh, you do drop your fire dragon scales. Interesting. Whoa man, the forest is the lungs of the world. We don't need more emissions, especially in the sphere of influence of the dungeon alone. I'm sure this is a severe percentage of the overall forestry cover over the entire dungeon. I'm an absolute monster. Also though, didn't start a forest fire? Weird. I thought for sure that was going to have drastic repercussions. Oh no, you burnt down a forest. Your character struggles to breathe as the oxygen in the air slowly but surely is sapped. Missed opportunity, game. Missed opportunity. Could have taught people a little something about sustainability, as well as have a fun new mechanic out of it. But okie dokie. I mean, Fireball probably will start a forest fire, right? Also, right, I'm not poison resistant anymore is the thing. Whoops. Very silly of me. Come on, get me out of here. Yeah, I probably will just head for the stairs. I was originally going to potentially just turn around and start lobbing fireballs after making it out of the forest, but why not get out of there, heal up? No reason not to, really. How would that flexibility compare to ridiculousness of level 9 spells? I'm not too sure what you mean by that, Colgate, but cannot disagree with the ridiculousness of level 9 spells. That's something I feel like I need to be a bit more cognizant of, is actually admitting when I don't understand something or like a reference. Because so often in the past, especially when I was a kid, I feel like I would just nod my head and laugh along and pretend that I knew exactly what everyone was talking about. But there's no need to do that. I can admit my own foolishness. The fact that I almost never understand what people are going with. And in fact, that can be fun in its own right, in its own way. Not too shabby here. Especially in a communication situation like Twitch, where it is such an interesting mix of like sometimes completely immediate res or like on tempo conversations, or sometimes you can have really like delayed responses to things, because I know that I often not only type out way longer sentences than is necessary, but also like revise my writing, especially even in Twitch chat when I'm on other people's channels. I just like write and rewrite the same thing over and over, and then by the time I'm actually done it, they've moved on completely from the topic, and I'm like, oh no, it's not going to make any sense now. Okie dokie. It's time we return to the den of evil here, fighting off all of these poisonous critters one by one, these fun little buddies. Not too bad. Ooh, it looks like an ice dragon in that little vault there, so that's much better than we're used to. Might actually be able to output some damage for once. Wouldn't that be swell? Hello, my snaily friend. Goodbye. Perfect. On to the Tyrant Leech. Immediately regret it, because of course there's a Torpor Snail. Why wouldn't there be? Oh me, oh my. Let's see, can I... No good avenue for blasting all of you. I guess just blasting most of you. Phil does the trick. Not too bad. And then you buddies are slow. So goodbye. Take advantage of our own expediency here and run away. Shadow creatures would maybe be problematic with removed summon XP penalties. That makes a lot of sense. Right, that's actually a change that I'd kind of forgotten about, that I'm very excited to potentially try a bit more of a bespoke summoner build, especially with the changes where you also can only have one entity of each summoning spell active at any time, so it incentivizes, you know, bringing up an arrayed army of summons, real eclectic mix all across the board. I think that'll be very fun to experiment with, at the very least. Looking forward to it. Okay, let's drop their regeneration armor for now, and with cactus for that as well. I have to take your word for that one, since yeah, I don't have any experience with that new spell yet. Sounds very cute. don't just say that because my partner and I have a bit of a fascination with succulents and cacti. Such cool plants. Okie dokie. Just clear our way through here a wee bit more. Can actually just blast this dragon to bits with our own spell power instead of having to resort to wands. You absolutely love to see it. And decent chunk of change. I mean, we haven't chosen any weapon training to get into yet. That means that we could still potentially go for, oh, I was going to say the spear, but it's just under 7,000 gold. I thought it was going to be like 2,500. Whoops. I just made you think of the skit BMX Expanded and Angel Summoner. I'm not familiar with that one. If you recommend it, I'll definitely have to look it up and check it out on my own time after the stream today. I like the sound of it at the very least. Okie dokie. All the death yaks coming out. Oh my gosh. We said we weren't going to start any forest fires. I'm so sorry, dungeon. I don't think of the children. I just care about the now, and I will burn it all down. And we'll finish off with a bolt of magma that should deal absolutely ridiculous amounts of damage. Perfect. Also, did not think about this fight coming up. I don't have any magic. Let us run away, shall we? They get some free hits in, but that is a-okay. Just keep laying them on fire and running away. Foolproof strategy. Perfect. We're so close through the rest of the floor here, so I'll definitely take another lovely journey with some more of our friends here. Let's sticky flame, and then maybe do some magma bolt shenanigans here. As long as we're able to afford one turn to light them on fire, still can afford one turn. The max hit that we're dealing with from these sons of guns, and I think so, right? It's 30? It's 30. One last time. That should do it, right? No, it does not. Boo. One more sticky flame? Because I could risk slicing with our own dagger here, but that's fine. That's great. Convert to GVR Luganu, and you don't have to worry about burning down the trees. Corrupting the dungeon is your job. Hey, that's the way to think about things. Always want the silver lining. But what good can we pull from the horrible destruction that we subject the world to? Sometimes it's your job to do so. Absolutely foolproof reasoning there. But okie dokie. There we go. Explored through to the end of Lair. Okie dokie. So what do we wish to do now? Statue form is down to 11%, so that's definitely castable. With decent regularity. I mean, it's even gone up a couple points in power. Wow. So that's not too bad. Definitely try and make use of that in Snake. And that way we could switch off one of our rings, the poison resistance ring, for something a bit more generally applicable, as it were. Did also finally get our Vial of Floods back. Do I want to go fight a Jorgrund? I mean, I don't. It's gonna be scary, which I kind of do. And Rue is the only god that you can't make angry. I do like that. Rue doesn't care as long as you're living in this false world. I mean, what do the things that you do in a false world matter to a god, you know? Since that is what Rue believes anyway, I don't see how any action that you take in the false universe could anger him. So that actually tracks. That makes a lot of sense. I can feel that. Yeah, when you leave Rue though, yeah, you get no penance, right? But you don't you retain the sacrifices you made, but none of the benefits that you made by sacrificing them. Is that the trade-off? Or if you do end up leaving Root, something like that, I believe. Definitely an interesting mix there.